Take your career to the next level. The University of South Florida, St. Petersburg is offering a master's degree in digital journalism and design. Do the entire program from home and complete it in as little as 1 year. For more information, email journalism@usf.edu or call 727-873-4544. The cost is reasonable. The experience is invaluable.
Ladies, if you're over 50, the best is yet to come. It is time to embrace life's next chapter with passion, purpose, and confidence. Let's have some fun and live our best lives by hearing inspirational stories from women who have succeeded. And let's add a spark with important information on navigating our post-50s life. This is the Fierce, Feisty, and 50-Plus podcast with your host, television personality, social influencer, and the winner of 5 national pageant titles, Sierra Patrica Scott.
Hello, and welcome to our first episode, and do we ever have a good one for you. In our Wisdom Warriors, we talked to a woman who has hacked her age, and she's going to give you the secrets on how to hack your age, too. And in our Women on a Mission, we talked to a woman who piloted the KC-135. She defied orders and flew into a no-fly zone in Iraq. In our Women on a Mission, we focus on women who not only had impressive careers, but are still over the age of 50, continuing to do amazing things and achieving new goals. And I love this segment because our next guest not only has 4 master's degrees, she had a 25-year career in the Air Force. She's piloted the KC-135, the UV-18, worked at the Pentagon, was a wing commander, and that's only a small part of your resume, Colonel McClain. I'm like, wow, I can't even list it all. And now at 65 years old, Colonel Cathy McClain is running her own coaching business on leadership. So I love that you kind of change gears, but kind of not. So Cathy, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Sierra. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited because there's just so many things I want to touch on. One of the things is, why did you choose a military career? And on the flip side of that, were there some impediments because you were a female?
Oh, great question. So I grew up in a small town in Southeast Texas, and Mom and Dad took wonderful driving vacations up to Canada a couple of times and all the national parks. And one day, my dad, who knew that I was really interested in flying and science and astronomy, we were driving by the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And I said, "Hey, Dad, what's that?" And he goes, "Well, you've heard of West Point and Annapolis. That's the Air Force's version. You can actually attend, get your engineering degree, and fly jets if you're qualified." Well, I thought that was just amazing. So when school started again, I went to the high school guidance counselor and I asked for the book. Yes, I'm that old. On the Air Force Academy. And Sierra, as she handed it to me, she said, "Honey, you can't go there because you're a girl." Wow. I was incensed. And I went home and took out a page of notebook paper, 3-ring notebook paper, and I wrote a letter to my congressman telling him exactly how mad I was that I had a part-time job and I paid federal taxes, and how dare I not be able to go there. Well, a couple of years later, all the academies opened up to women. Now I'm a high school junior. And I applied, and that particular congressman gave me my nomination to the Air Force Academy and opened the door to my dreams and science and astronomy, because my real goal, I really wanted to be an astronaut. And
I love that. I love that you didn't take no for an answer.
I did not. Never take the first no.
Amen. That is the truth. Now, what's interesting to me is you didn't just sit behind a desk during that career. You actually saw action in places like Iraq. Talk about those experiences.
Oh, my goodness. You know, we train our whole lives, our whole careers to be ready when the nation calls. And after 9/11, the nation called. And I packed up my bags and went overseas. At that point, I was placed in command of all of the flying operations from a certain location that would be bringing aircraft into Iraq. And it was intense. I'll just say that. We had people, active duty coming in from all over the world. We had reservists and guardsmen who were actually flying for Delta and American and United, trading in their civilian uniforms and showing up in flight suits ready because our nation called. And being deployed over there in a true combat operation and being a woman in charge of that, I will tell you, was the pinnacle of a dream to lead people and do something that was important in what our nation needed.
And by the way, thank you for your service. That really is amazing that you did that. Talk about a fierce and feisty moment that really kind of tested your strength. Is there a time that really you had to push through something, or you really had to dig down deep to make it happen?
Oh, absolutely. And it actually happened in Iraq. We, one of the groups that I was in charge of, we did special operations air refuelings. So we were down low, blacked out, refueling other combat aircraft who were protecting our Americans on the ground. And I reported to fly one night with my team, and they told us the firefight was so intense that they had to move us 7 miles away so we wouldn't get, quite frankly, shot out of the sky. And as we were cruising in to fly this mission, I can see the Americans surrounded in the firefight going on in front of us in the dead of the night. And I can see the AC-130 gunship circling and protecting them. And suddenly the radio crackled to life, and the pilot said, I'm engaged, I need fuel now. And my navigator calmly said, say your coordinates. And we got the latitude and longitude. And I turned around and said, Nav, where is he? He goes, exactly where we've been ordered not to go. So I took a deep breath, and I will tell you at that moment, many things flashed through your minds. Americans are being shot at in front of me, and their protector aircraft needs gas, and I've got the gas. And I think back to my family back at home, 3 young kids, married, husband. And I look again, and I keyed the mic, and I said, crew, this will be a crew decision to disobey orders and refuel over the top of the fight. And I looked at my co-pilot, and he's 30-ish years old, married, 2 kids at home, and he goes, well, yeah. And I looked at my navigator, mid-20s, single guy, and he gave me 2 thumbs up. And I turned around to the 18-year-old boom operator, and I said, boom. And he laughed, and he stood up, and he grabbed his portable oxygen bottle, and he said, boom's checking off for the rear with oxygen. And I said, now give him our ETA. And we blacked out our jet, and we swooped down to 4,000 feet above the ground, right on top of all of the firefighting. And when that C-130 gunship pulled up and hooked up to us, we slammed every single fuel pump on to pump gas as fast as we could from our plane into his. And then the boom yelled, he's away, he's away. And we could see the C-130 gunship rolling back out and firing to protect our Americans. And we firewalled those throttles and pulled that yoke back into our bellies and just got away as fast as we could. I will tell you, I have never been more proud to be an American at that point, because the 3 men I happened to be with, without hesitation, decided it was more important to go protect those Americans than to protect ourselves.
You just gave me chills with that story. I am amazed. And that was a tough decision to make, because not only are you putting your life in danger, but you had to really consider everybody else's. And it's amazing that they were all in.
They were, without hesitation.
Wow. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Certainly.
The thing is, and I talked about this a little earlier. In fact, we're just going to put your bio up on the website, because I want people really to see all the amazing things you've done. Is there one thing, though, that stands out to you that you're most proud of?
I was most honored, I will say, to be selected to be a wing commander of the largest air refueling wing in the Air Force. 3,500 people were put in my charge. 56 KC-135s here in the United States and deployed overseas were in my charge. And that's a hefty weight and an exciting opportunity. And I was very, very proud to be selected for that. It was the best job ever. I will tell you that. It was the best job ever, because my goal was to kick obstacles out of their way so they could do theirs. And I was in a position to do so as the wing commander.
And that's an amazing accomplishment. That just, I'm so proud of you for that, because I think that was one of the pinnacles of your career, honestly. And you did it with style and grace. And wow, it's just really impressive. So you were a great leader. You decided to start a leadership business. What do you think made you a great leader?
It starts with mom and dad. with high standards. Parents who tell you this is what expected, this is behavior, this is how you treat other people. And then you add in all those wonderful experiences I got to have in the Air Force of making mistakes as a leader and learning from them, having bosses who went, oh, Cathy, you really dorked that up. Let's talk about how you might do that better next time. And the theme that goes from parents to leaders in the Air Force who took care of that was they invested their time in me. And that was the takeaway I took away, was how important it was for me as a leader to invest my time in people. And people, not only the ones I work with, but people happen to be my family. So you've got to really work on balancing family and work.
And you do that well. How do you balance family and work life? How has your family been supportive of this?
Family was, kids and husband always supportive, pretty proud of mom. Kids thought every mom wore combat boots to work, truly. They truly did. I will tell you, you've got to make a conscious choice, because it's really easy to get caught up in, oh, I have to get this email done, or I have to get this report done. And I would tease my execs sometimes when they would say, oh, we got to stay at work, man. We got to get work to get done. And I would ask them 3 questions. Is anyone going to die tonight if you don't get that paperwork done? Is anyone going to get hurt tonight if you don't get that paperwork done? Is anyone going to lose the opportunity of a lifetime if you don't get that paperwork done? And when they go, no, ma'am, I'd put my hands on my hips and I'd stare them down and make them walk out. The bottom line is, it's a choice. You have to decide what's important and make choices.
And you made some great ones along the way. And I know nobody's career is perfect, but I got to say, good job, Colonel McClain, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the time today.
Coming up next, an exciting anti-aging technique.
At Douglas Investment Group, we understand that managing wealth isn't just about numbers. It's about protecting what matters most to you. For high net worth families, we're more than advisors. We're your trusted partner. We simplify the complexities of modern wealth management with clear, actionable strategies that align with your values. As fiduciaries, your interests always come first. From growing your wealth to preserving your legacy, we provide sound advice so you can focus on what truly matters: your family, your goals, and your future. Douglas Investment Group, your financial sounding board for sound advice. Visit us today at www.douglasgroup.net or call 316-854-8495. Looking for smarter security? Alert 360 delivers advanced home and business protection with 24/7 U.S.-based monitoring and cutting-edge video technology. Stay connected, stay protected. Visit alert360.com and experience security done right.
Well, now it's time for our wisdom warriors. Now, these are fearless females that are going to give you great tips on living a better life. They're going to have ideas, things that you can adapt that'll make sure you live your best life possible. Today, we have Zora Benhamou, and she is the founder of Hack Your Age. She's also a longevity advocate, and she's a researcher, so she's going to have all sorts of great information. So, Zora, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited for this conversation.
Oh, I just love you. I followed you. I just think you give the greatest tips and ideas. And I love the fact that you really push for aging slowly. Because I hate the word anti-aging, because that's almost, you're dead, because you're going to continue to age. So I love that. You optimize quality of life. What is something that if women haven't been doing anything up to now, what's one thing we could adapt today that would make a big difference?
Well, yeah, we want to look at the big levers, and it depends when you say big difference in what, right? Is it
Right.
your weight? Is it your mindset? Is it your finances? Is it whatever it is? So in terms of the big levers, let's say of just general health and wellness, I would say I'm a big advocate of exercise, movement, any kind of movement. For some people, it's just getting off the couch and walking for 10 minutes outdoors, ideally. Fabulous. Start there. For others who are already doing that, well, then let's start lifting heavy weights. If you're already lifting heavy weights, well, then let's lift a little heavier, or let's add in different types of exercise. I'm a big fan of lifting heavy, but I also think we need to be well-rounded. If you want to concerned about your heart, you need to have some kind of a cardio. If you want to have strength and muscle, we need the heavy lifting, and then we need mobility, agility, and flexibility as we age. Because who can do a squat? Who can get off the floor without their hands? Like, it's very rare now these days, even with younger people, to see that. So it's something to practice now. If you're on the floor, you can use your hands, but then try one hand, then try no hand. So many ways to do that.
I love it. And I agree with you. There are a lot of people that haven't been off the couch in years, and that's fine too. But sometimes just walking around the block, just get started, do something, right?
Yes. Yes.
I love
do
that.
something, get good blood flow. And then you may be motivated to work on your diet or work on your sleep, or it helps with the stress. It helps with so many things. So that's the starting point. But then there's a lot of other things we should probably do too.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you really study this, which I love the fact that you do that. Where do you see longevity science heading in the next decade?
Oh, wow. That is, it's already exploding. And I think with AI, we're able to go at lightning speed now in terms of trying to figure out what helps us with the diseases of aging. I think gene therapy is something really big on the horizon that we should keep our pulse on, because it could be a real game changer when everything else fails, right? Having the foundation is really important in terms of a diet, exercise, sleep, stress management, community, purpose in life, etc. But sometimes even when you get those things in place, disease still happens. So what do we do? Well, that's when we got to go a little bit farther. But I think gene therapy is on the horizon, is here. And there are things, for example, regenerative medicine is also really, really fast moving. So this is another thing to look at. If you have osteoarthritis or you have joint issues and you need to rebuild cartilage, all of this is coming very soon. I hope that, right now we're just the last few people who need surgeries, and eventually we'll be able to regenerate tissue and then not need these surgeries.
Boy, that's the truth. And I cannot wait till that day. I know a lot of people are kind of doing that experimentally now, but boy, that's going to take off. I agree with you. Now, one of the things that you said earlier on, and I thought you were right when I said, what's one thing we could do today? And you said, in what category? One of the things you can do is really psychological. I think aging is a mindset. Like we were saying, some people are 30 and act 70, some are 70, act 30. What are some psychological habits that we can pick up that might make a difference?
I think we need to understand that when we age, we have a menu of choice. Most of us. Of course, there's some exceptions. So we have this stereotype of aging, of somebody frail or somebody hunched over or somebody walking slowly with pain, fatigue. And this is just one choice on the whole set of menu of choices. So if you search for it, you will find those people who are in their 90s and doing Olympics. All right, that's the other extreme. And of course, we have everything in between. So we can choose to live a healthier life and for at least delay those diseases, if not completely offset them, and getting your mindset into believing that it's possible is really important. Because if you believe the opposite's going to happen, this is actually self-inflicted ageism. And so we're all ageist to some point, but the worst ageism is when you inflict it on yourself, and then it just spirals. You can sort of manifest this future that you think is true. So shifting the mindset and understanding that we can age. We do have a choice in aging.
We really do. And that is, I think 90% of it, honestly, to be able to think that it's possible. Because if you don't think it's possible, it's not possible, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
So to piggyback off that, what's the biggest myth that you try to kind of break that a lot of people have about aging?
About aging. Aging is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I always say that. Same thing for menopause. Menopause is inevitable, but suffering again is optional. So we don't need to suffer. We have that choice, and that's again a mindset shift. And I think it's really important to look around at your 5 closest friends. We are the average of our 5 closest friends. Now, if your 5 closest friends are negative and think that aging is horrible and we're going to all have this long, slow decline with medicine and surgeries, et cetera, then you may have that belief system too. So if your friends are positive, or if they're healthy, or they're rich, or whatever it is, you're more likely to be the average of those people. So I would say be very mindful of the people you are surrounded by. Remove yourself from toxic relationships. Sometimes it's really hard, but remove yourself and then surround yourself by the people who support you and have a positive belief system.
Is there a woman over 50 that inspires you, by the way?
Oh,
There's somebody out there?
They're all over my Instagram feed.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel the same way, because a lady just finished a triathlon in record time that I forget her age, but she was the oldest one to ever do it. And so she's one that I just can't believe it. It's great.
Yeah, I think if you use social media, there's an algorithm there. They know what you like. They know what you want. And if you want to see positive images, just keep liking and sharing and commenting on those people who inspire you. And your whole world becomes of everybody's strong as they age. And lately, the one person who has inspired me is Ginny McCall. And she is a American Ninja Warrior, age 74, 75 now.
Wow.
She did her first competition, I think at 71. She was not able to do one pull-up at age 60, 65, more or less. So she was not somebody who's been fit all her life. She couldn't even do one pull-up. It took her 1 year to learn how to do one pull-up. And then soon after that, she is on American Ninja Warrior, holding on to things, amazing grip strength, amazing proprioception, amazing, the strength that she has is incredible. So I think she's been an inspiring woman for me lately, but I've got tons of them.
Me too. I'm the same. And my feed is full of them as well. So just a final word. I love you. I love following you. For somebody who doesn't know how to find you, how do they do that?
The easiest thing is to go to the website, hackmyage.com, and all my social media are there. Unless you are already there on Instagram or Facebook, then Hack My Age, you will find me.
I love it. Zora, thank you so much for talking to us today. I hope to have you back on, because I want to talk further with you on specifics, but thank you so much for all your advice.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. If you're having a hard time sleeping, the best thing you can do for yourself is start a gratitude journal. Now, this is one of my gratitude journals from 2020. I listed 5 things during that day that actually went well. And not only does that make you realize that you actually had a better day sometimes than you think you did, it helps you go to sleep on a positive note. And you should always leave yourself on a high note before you climb into bed. Now, some days, I'm not going to lie, are harder than others because you really search for things. Some days I just put, I tasted a great taco, and maybe that's all you can do, but it does leave you on a positive note, and it's fun to review. Well, if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, or Google, well, you can also watch us on YouTube. Please leave us a positive review and share with your friends so other women can be inspired. And don't forget to check out our website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Sierra Patricia Scott. Have a fierce and feisty day. Thank you for listening. The views and opinions of this episode's guest and the host are not associated with nor reflect those of the University of South Florida. The podcast is produced by the Department of Journalism and Digital Communication at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. Executive producers are Elliot Weiser and Sierra Patricia Scott. Producer is Stephanie Broughton. Production assistant is Ariel Makis. The director is Christopher Campbell. And a special thank you to PBS Kansas. I'm Jamel Holoparik. Thank you for joining us.